Hello, everyone. Good afternoon. We are doing our first blog or podcast. I don't know what's the term to use for a Oneness Education Foundation. I know it's been like more than I would say 3 to 4 months since we made any YouTube videos, but we thought we have to keep giving an update to the members who wanted to think about going in a career in Canada or anywhere across the world. What's the current status in healthcare? What is the update in the research? That's what we are trying to do. And today we have our esteemed guest, Zainab. She is amazing. She is a good friend of mine, I would say that. I've met her only a couple of times, but I've been learning so much about life as such. More than healthcare, I would say there's always some kind of learning. I would just have a short introduction about Zainab. You're seeing Zainab here. She is a clinical project manager with over 8 years of experience in life science and clinical medicine, obviously healthcare. She excels in driving ethical and efficient clinical trials, ensuring compliance with the GCP standards. She is known for her entrepreneurial spirit. In the as such, she would tell about her journey as an entrepreneur back home and a comprehensive understanding of clinical trial process. And she's also consistently delivered profitable result and improved satisfaction among patient and also the other stakeholders. And currently, we are going to hear from Inab to begin with what's her career journey in Canada. And also, we are going to focus on learning about what's up with the PEBC and pharmacy update here in Canada. And let's hear more from her end. Thank you, Zainab. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you,
How are you feeling
Said.
today?
Hello, everyone. It's nice to be here, and I'm happy to be sharing my experiences with everyone here. Perhaps there might be one person that might have similar experience, or you're about to set on this journey, be it immigration, be it your licensure and your registration, anyone, any journey at all. I want you to know that the beginning is that you have to take a step, and the first step is information. So, welcome, and I'm happy to be here. My name, as Said said, is Zainab Apooyin, and I would like to define myself. I don't normally define myself in one thing because I find out that when we box ourselves into that one definition of who we are, either professionally or in our personal life or in our professional life in any way, we tend not to see that we could be more or we could go more than what is in the box. So it's always good to have an open mind that you can be so many things, albeit not at once, but we could be so many things to people, to ourselves, and in every situation that we find ourselves. So my background is in pharmacy. I have a bachelor's of pharmacy from Nigeria, and then I moved to Canada 2 years ago. So back home in Nigeria, I practiced as pharmacist in community, in retail, and in hospital, which has allowed me to garner a majority of experiences in clinical research, in how to set up a pharmacy, how to run a pharmacy, what the policies are also like. And then afterwards, I dabbled onto entrepreneurship. I worked as a manager at my previous workplace before dabbling into entrepreneurship. My, would I say, my motivation for dabbling into entrepreneurship was just because I come from a family of entrepreneurs. My mom has always been an entrepreneur.
That's
My
amazing.
dad was an entrepreneur. My grandmom wasn't. So I grew up seeing. So sometimes you can't take your antecedents from things. They shape you. You're soaking up the things in your environment one way or the other. So for me, it was a given. I did everything from poultry. I had a poultry with my brother. We were doing catfish rearing. We were doing organic farm. And then I got married. I moved out. The business kind of, we did plantain farming. The business kind of, it was difficult for my brother alone to manage. Joe is still managing some aspects of the farming by himself, the majority of what he could do by himself. So he also went on for me into production, product management, and product distribution. So I started this coconut company where we're making organic coconuts, we're packaging. I was the business lead, I was a receptionist, I was a customer care representative,
Amazing.
I was a sales and marketing manager. I was basically the jack of all trades, as with every entrepreneur.
Oh my
And
God.
that's why I said that you can take your antecedents from things. Even my pharmacy degree and my pharmacy experiences allowed me to be all of those things, because in your professional life you get to do some of all of those things bit by bit, maybe not solely on one function, but you function in all of those areas. And that's why I say, if you have gone through your pharmacy degree, you're the
Yeah.
best out there. No matter where you find yourself, you're the best, because your degree, your 5 years or 6 years in school had shaped you to be more than just, quote and unquote, the pharmacist. It means that as a pharmacist, you can be a cashier. As a pharmacist, you can work in sales rep. As a pharmacist, there is nowhere the pharmacists are not versatile. So don't let anyone tell you less, or don't feel less of yourself just because you immigrated. So fast forward to 2 years ago, we decided to move to Canada. Though I and my spouse, when we got married, that has always been part of our plan. So it meant that whatever we're doing currently in our home country, everything kind of felt temporary, because we knew that we were coming somewhere. So that also affects the kind of investments you make, the kind of saving plans that you do, the kind of forward looking plans that you make, because you can't take away planning away from your immigration journey. Planning takes a whole load from you. It makes the journey of 1,000 miles, it makes it easier. Whatever it is you could achieve in a span of 2 years, if you researched well and you planned properly, you perhaps might achieve it in 1 year, as opposed to if you didn't have any plan at all. So we started looking into everything. Express entry, what do I need to do? Do we have valid documents? My education, I needed to evaluate my degree. If I'm going through West, I needed to find out about PEBC. And another angle of the journey was to find some of our friends who were also on their journey, or who had also gone through their journey, which is part of the planning process and helps. I was able to leverage on the information that I got from some of my colleagues and some of my friends who had also gone through the process, which made it easier. Now, information is the cheapest thing anyone can give you. Don't ask anybody for money unless the person is a billionaire. Even billionaires find it difficult to give you their money if you're not putting it in a project. So, but information is free. Information is
Yeah.
cheap,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
that's all you need to get started. So we tried the express entry route, and it seemed like it was not, all the balances were not balancing. So we had to look for another route, and we were successful, and we came in through the student route. So my spouse was the one who got the admission. Initially, I tried to apply to Nova Scotia at St. Mary's University for a master's program at Nova Scotia, and I didn't get in. And I was, for a while, I was down. I was like, no, that's not possible. I've
I know that
never
feeling as such.
I've never,
Yes.
from from anything that I've done, even those we graduated with will know me. Permit me to brag about myself a little. I can say that I'm an A plus student. So having to fail at something can throw you off everything, because you
Do you apply
never,
to just one university, or did you try to apply to the different university? The
just
same
one,
level?
because I was at that
Okay.
point in time, based on the information I had, I was targeting Nova Scotia because the PR was the goal. So remember, you need to look things now gradually. Do not forget your long term and your short term. The long term was PR, however we're going to get the PR. So Nova Scotia, it's easier there. I just needed to graduate from the school, and within months I could perhaps land my PR. So Nova Scotia was a good target, and I think we knew some people who had already settled in Nova Scotia. So Another point, always go where you know that you might be able to have the support that you need to settle down. But it didn't work out, and previously, I think my husband already had an admission with Conestoga, so it was easy to just start the admission process all over again because they had this transcript, they had everything. Alhamdulillah, we did that, and he got the admission. Then from there, everything about the journey changed. Everything from the
You guys
single.
applied together?
Yes, we did. We applied together. We came in together. Oh, me and my husband. I always say that we're like the tail of the snail and its shell. We go everywhere together. So I understand that family differences occur in everywhere that you have. What works for you might not work for me. But what has been working for us is that we are able to strategize together, we're able to communicate together, we're able to see what our plans are from the get-go. He who comes to equity must come with clean hands. Both of us must always come with clean hands to the table. I'm not a marriage counselor or anything, but that for me works at all times and in every situation. I'm just putting it out there. If you think that something is not working and you want to tweak, try communicating properly and try making things work. So we started.
When was this? Which
Oh,
year
this
did you
was
move?
22. We moved here May 2nd, 2022.
Just 2 years before.
Yes, just
I
two
didn't know that.
years.
I thought you had been here for so long.
No.
That's another thing. Sorry for interrupting you. When you were sharing your introduction, we couldn't find so many things about you in LinkedIn. We think whom we meet in the LinkedIn is the actual person, but the amount of information or about the introduction what you have given about yourself, about all the entrepreneurship and all the things which you have tried, which makes us more interesting person, more a well-rounded person. And I thought you've been here for so long, but
Yeah.
when you say that you landed here just on 22,
Yes,
22
we
May,
landed here
it's just
2nd of
amazing.
May 2022.
I landed
From
here on 21 September.
Oh,
I'm just, yeah, 6 to 8 months senior to you. Please go ahead. Over to you. Yeah, sorry.
that's nice. When we were preparing to come, like I said, another thing, you cannot take preparation away from your journey. We're operating all our life. We packed all our lives in 6 suitcases. Who does that? Like, really? You're so much more than the 6 suitcases, but that's all you need for that journey or the beginning step. So we went on to preparation mode, planning mode. Okay, we were checking Conestoga College. Where are the apartments closer to Conestoga? Is there a school for our daughter? Is there workplaces I could possibly work as? Because I my pharmacy background, I learned that okay, I could easily work as a pharmacy assistant. So I started looking for where are the Shoppers Drug Mart, where is the pharmacy, where are the pharmacies around wherever we're going to eventually land and stay that could make the journey easier, since I was going to be coming on a work permit and my spouse was coming on a study permit. So we started on journey. I started on YouTube. I looked for all Nigerians who were on YouTube in Brantford. I found none, and I'm like, oh no,
Yeah.
anywhere there is no Nigerian, I don't think there is something happening in there. And I was shocked at the amount of Nigerians I met here upon getting here. So that's another thing that is important, that you do your due diligence. Don't up and leave wherever you are going to without having an active plan, an active strategy, a long look at what the overhaul is going to be. Because if you have not made that effort, it will make your landing, it will make your settling more difficult for you. And you
More
don't want to be
challenging for sure.
frustrated
Yeah.
in the journey, because the journey, landing here, is just step one. There's still so many stumbling blocks ahead, and you need to keep on going. You need to keep on going. You need to make money. You need to feed your family. You need to feed yourself if you're alone. You need a roof over your head. You also need
For
a
sure.
bit of fun and a bit of entertainment, so you don't get down or you don't get depressed.
Yeah.
Planning is very efficient. We started.
So regarding when you say about planning, just to do, because I want the audience to also take a moment in understanding what you mean as such. I could hear that you meant about schooling for your
Yes.
daughter. You also meant about job and
Yes.
community and
Yes.
some fun place where you would meet your people. Is that did I miss something?
No, that
Is there
that was
anything else
it.
you prioritized? Okay.
Yes, I
Yeah.
needed to be sure that if I were going to, I'm a community person, I'm community orientated. From where I've been coming from, I've always had the support of community. So it was important for me to actively seek community where we're going to land. So when we told our family and friends that, oh, we're coming to Canada, did they know anybody where we're going? Because I wasn't really seeing anything about on the YouTube
Yeah.
pages. The majority of
Yes.
things I saw were this list. It was
Oh,
disheartening. Not to come up as judgmental, but most of the things I saw were downtown, drug related issues, and all of that. And I'm like, no, I'm not going to up and leave the comfort of where I'm coming from and then plunge myself in a situation like this. Muscle, I have a child I'm going to be accountable for. My child, I wouldn't want my child to grow up in this circumstance. We're to double back. Okay, who can we talk to? Who do we know? Can they get someone there to do the legwork for us? Can we find out more than what we are seeing online? And then that's the beauty of people, and that's the beauty of connections. We're more connected in one ways than one, and that's another highlight of our journey and our story. So we had a friend who connected us to another friend who was in Alberta, and the friend in Alberta had a cousin in Brantford. So you can see the connections. And that was how,
yes, it
okay,
matters.
they helped us look for an apartment that was in a sane area, not far away from downtown, albeit a bit far away from school. But then there's a city bus, so that's another thing you want to look at. What are the amenities that are going to be available to you where you are going? That's also part of the journey. So we were able to secure an apartment before even leaving Nigeria. That is difficult for most people. But
Because
like I said,
for myself, I didn't know anyone in the small town where I went to. So I have to come and stay in Airbnb for close to 1 week. After landing, I was searching for the place. So
yes,
you are
and it's
blessed in a
not
way that
easy.
to,
It's not easy.
yeah,
I've had someone who is now in Scarborough. When the person came here first, you see why it's good to know someone where you're going. She didn't know anyone in Canada, but she stayed with us. We were able to help her go look for, do the groundwork, go look for, because in the end, people did those stuffs for us too, and I appreciate people, someone doing that for me. So it's
yes,
imperative on me to perhaps do that for someone else too, or even more, as long as it's in my capacity to do that. You still can't take away the power of community. You can't take the power of giving back to others. Giving back to others has helped us settle down in more ways than we could ever think of. I had fears, but Alhamdulillah, it's 2 years now. It
yeah,
didn't, glory be to God, it didn't feel like it's 2 years. Said said, you must have thought I've been here longer, but no, it's the value of the information I've been given, it's the value of the research and the planning that has gone into our journey that has made it quite easy. So we planned, glory be to God, everything came smooth, though we had to pay before coming in. So I can say for students, people coming on students visa, those are some of the points you need to take away. Apartments don't come cheap. It's not easy to secure housing anywhere you are, and majority of the landlords are also afraid. They don't want you to commit, or they commit before you land here, and then it goes awry. So it's both ways. But if you can find someone to secure an apartment for you, or secure a form of housing for you before coming, that would be a good one. But if not, Airbnbs are available, but that doesn't come cheap too.
but
It's not cost
yes,
effective, but it's something
yeah,
that you have to. When we looked at the cost of Airbnb, I'm like, no, this does not make any financial
yes,
sense. Let's look for another
yeah,
alternative. In our case, we were able to find an alternative. But should you not be able to find an alternative, it's best to use what is available for you. Come here, and do the groundwork. If you can come a week to starting your studies, that would be good, because then you'll be able to do a considerable amount of legwork before your school starts, and then schooling is on another ball game, another level
Yeah, I wanted to
here.
also ask about that part. I'm glad you're bringing that because many of us, any healthcare professional, when they relocate to Canada, most of them they are married. Most of them who are graduate, who are coming through the landed immigrant or through the education, still they are married. They are like 29 and 30. They have kids. Even I had my son also. So I wanted to just, if you can take next couple of minutes, in just sharing your journey, how challenging this was to bring your daughter from the supporting system where you had your whole family there when you relocated, how you were able to convince your daughter, and what was the like a precaution or what are the steps you have taken before landing here in term for her to start her education or camping here?
One thing is, for me, the family unit is very critical. So since we're moving, we had to create, first of all, sweet memories for her and all our friends and family members. We visited everyone, and we allowed her to take pictures with people and let them know that we're also going, so that she knows that we're living. And then we also constantly spoke to her and told her, we're moving to Canada, you're going to leave your friends and have more friends, we're going to be doing this, we're going to be doing that. So she was also prepared for the journey, and coupled with the fact that most times she was always with us, and then wherever we go she went. So I guess I could say that maybe it's not true, or maybe it is, but I could say that she was used to the movement. So I was anticipating maybe tantrums, but unfortunately I didn't get that. She was just excited up until when we got on the plane. Nothing. This is our first
Yeah,
time
that's good.
on the
Yeah,
airplane. Nothing. She slept almost through the journey, and then she watched
Alhamdulillah.
TV. And
Yeah.
then I think another highlight was the fact that we met another family at the airport, and they had two kids.
Oh,
No, I think we met three families who had kids also. So, and we were together, and we were all on the same flight. We were all going to the same direction. We're all coming to Toronto Pearson before then, diverting and going to other places. I think one couple was going to Saskatchewan, another one was going to Alberta, like that. But we were all coming to Toronto Pearson. So that was another thing that made the journey easier
you
for
see it.
her, and we landed. And then yes, the
Yeah.
beginning of the striving and thriving started.
How old was she?
She was 3 when we moved, and
Okay,
now
so
she's
she wouldn't
5.
be she wouldn't have joined the school at least for 1 year then. So initial
No,
1 year in
well,
Canada,
not
if you could just
necessarily. In Nigeria, then majority of kids our age were already almost in nursery school or in kindergarten. We start our
same in India
education
also.
early. It's here
Yes,
that
yes.
it's a bit late, but because I knew that we were actively planning on moving, I didn't want her to form some certain ideologies back home before coming. I Most people always ask me why is she not in school, and I keep on saying she's in a school better than the formal sector for her right now. She's been homeschooled, she's been given the love and all the attention that she needs. She's experiencing all the things she needs to experience at her own pace, which, in my opinion, as at that time, was the best I could afford for her and was the best decision for her at that time, which has been a good foundation for her, if I can say so. Rainbow teeth.
Uh,
So
good.
she always wants to
Yeah.
go. So we were able to come in, land, and then see how the journey unfolds. So this apartment I'm currently in was the one that we got from the beginning.
That's
And then
amazing. Yeah.
this is the messy of people and messy of also finding out information. We got people who were so kind enough to donate some items to us, which also made the journey easier. I think we had a budget. We had a budget for furniture, and then we spent our furniture budget on something else because we were given furniture already. So that's another thing coming in with an active plan. Like I said, if I can go back, find someone who could do a bit of legwork for you. Do your research and your active planning. Like, circumstances are different from each other. Finances might be what is the bottleneck for, but if you're able to plan, you'll be able to manage your expectations, and you'll be able to maximize the resources available to you. So we had people who gifted us items for us to start, and we were able to build from there.
Is it like a known people or friends who have provided the furniture, or you used some settlement services or government
No,
services to get the
we came
things?
in on student visa. There's no way.
Yeah.
All the settlement services are for only permanent residents or refugees. So no, this was just goodwill from people. Okay, I think one of my spouse's boss, was already living in Canada, in Brampton,
Okay.
not where we are at. And then,
Yeah.
that brings me another part of the journey. Your airport journey is very important. Who you interact with from the moment you land takes a lot on your journey. Their mindset also allows you to adopt a success mindset. If the person has, to some extent, in their opinion, not have been successful in their own journey, they kind of project that on you, and that might also mar your own journey. So be careful of the people you network with, be careful of the people you interact
Very well said.
with, because their reality might fast become yours if that's all you keep hearing. If you keep hearing all about their failures, their reality might fast become yours. So you
Thank
need
you.
to be
Thank you so much
careful.
for addressing for that. Yes, for sure.
You need to be careful of the people you interact with, because that can shape your journey. Where do I start from? Okay, so you know the way you have bosses at work. Your bosses, you just do your job and that's it. You go, you do your job, you deliver, and it feels like your boss is not taking note of what you're doing, but they are. And because of the culture, they don't praise you that much. They don't, but you're doing your job. So he told his boss that he's leaving for Canada, and everyone was shocked because he was to return back home at a certain date, and we're traveling like almost 3 to 4 days after, and everyone was surprised that you could have as well just resigned and gone off on your journey, but you still came back to work, made sure that everyone understood what the work was going to be left behind. You tried to train someone who is going to take over, and up. So that really, the boss was surprised that someone could do this. And another thing is, you have to have good work ethic. Your work ethic would speak for you no matter the situation you find yourself. If you're a good person, you're a good person. However difficult or hard the situation might be, you will always find a way out. It might just be in unexpected places. And then his boss just asked him, we're picking us at the airport. What's the luggage size? Where are we going? Do we know this? Do we know that? And that was it. And he offered straight from the bat to pick us up. And we were already looking at taxis. We're already looking at, okay, who's going to do this for us and all of that. So despite our planning, we still had goodwill in our journey. So it meant we saved money. We didn't spend some of our money settling down. So he came, he waited for us almost 2-3 hours at the airport. We went through the lines, baggage search, checking, making sure that we have the work permits, making sure that we have the student permits, everything that we needed to do at immigration before coming out of the airport. He waited almost 2 to 3 hours. I still remember that day. The queue was long. We must have been up to 300 on that line. It was
Usually,
slow. It was, and then there were so many uncertainties, but his boss waited through all that. He was the first person who dropped us. He dropped us. He took us to Walmart. He told us to get the mattress that we're going to get. We got the mattress.
No, that's amazing.
He just took us through everything. He brought us back Oh no, he had to go on another appointment. He went on an appointment. He left us at Walmart. He
Yeah.
came back to pick us at Walmart. He brought us home.
God
He
bless
brought us
him.
our
Yeah.
first meal from Aves here in Canada.
Yeah.
So there are good people
Yes.
out there.
Yes, they are. Yeah,
Now,
humans are
is it
amazing.
that this
Yes.
story is the same for everyone? No, it's not everyone that might be fortunate enough to have the same set of experiences as we do, but know that it's possible that your experience might be similar or even better than what we have experienced. There are good people
Thank you.
out
Thank
there.
you.
You just need to
For sure.
constantly put yourself in a position to receive the goodwill of others. We went through all that. We started settling in. This apartment behind me was very empty. Another
Yes.
tip is knowing where to shop or buy items. There are lots of thrift stores around you. Don't be fooled because it's expensive does not necessarily mean it's better. Because that's another thing. Those are places where you can peg your spending. Don't just go all out. Sometimes we're tempted to go all out and say, oh, you want to have the comfort that you had back home, you want to have it now. That's not the priority now. If you can afford it, by all means, and you have a replenished stock somewhere, by all means, go out. But it might not be a wise decision because once you land in at that airport, so many things are thrown against you in the instant, and you don't want to be cash stranded. Canadians don't give people money. The
Even
most they
bank.
can give you,
Yeah.
the most they
Yeah.
can give you is advice. Or it's a DIY. You would be searching for information yourself. You will be alone. You will be doing everything. So having the goodwill of people, it's a good one, and it was a good one all through our journey, even up until now. So he brought us home, and then the following day, I don't know, I think he scanned the apartment and it was like, oh, this place must feel empty for you guys. And he came in. We didn't ask him, no questions asked. We didn't even tell him anything. Meanwhile, we had already come with the budget of, okay, how much would a mattress cost, at least the things that we needed. So we had that amount budgeted, but we never spent that money. We didn't spend the
Thanks
money.
to him. Yeah.
Yeah, thanks to him. And he was an Indian. He came in,
Yeah. Yeah.
he brought the bed, he fixed the bed, he got a TV, everything. And I'm like, oh
I'm really happy
wow.
to hear this. This is yeah. But I could also
Yes.
hear. I just wanted to address when you said that your husband also was prioritizing on doing what is right before leaving his job, and you can
Yes, sir.
see that work ethic and being doing the right thing always comes back at the right moment. It's such amazing way. Such sorry. Yeah, please go ahead. Yes.
Oh, that's fine. So it just
Yeah.
came in, everything fixed, everything. And I still have all of those items till now. I've not replaced any of those items. That also goes back to your financial safety, your financial and your spending habits. The journey is long. The journey from student to PR, it takes about 5 to 8 years. So you don't want to just speed through or just live lavishly. You need to cut your coat according to your material, not according to your size. If you have a 2 yard material, you should not be sewing something that will need you for 6 yards. No, you have to be financially diligent, you have to be financially accountable so that you can achieve your goals in the least possible time. So when we were coming in, I was coming in with the hope that perhaps I would get a job quickly, or
Yes. Let's talk
at
about
least
that.
I was going to find something. And I was shocked because the converse was the case here. As with any immigrant out there, we'll always face that initial
Sure
stumble
challenge.
block of finding work, finding something to do. And here is where I advise other IEHPs is that find somewhere to put yourself in. It might not fit you at that point in time, but know that it's your short-term goal, which led me to how I started participating in ODPRN events, Ontario Drug Policy Research Network events. I just, out of my freestyling online, I always, for me, check for free, anything free first before it's paid, because there are lots of free resources online. There are lots of things, information, and opportunities for you to use only if you find them. No one, even the people you are asking, because they didn't make use of such opportunities, they might not be able to tell you also. Is what I've experienced or is what I've known, I will be able to tell someone else. So I just stumbled on an article from Ontario Drug Policy Research Network, and I saw that they were looking for citizen panel members. They had to have like people with different views, people with health background and opportunity, and then I just decided to give it a shot. I wrote an email. That's another thing you need to learn to do. As an immigrant, you need to learn how to converse via email. You need to learn how to be formal and polite on your emails. We come with so much value. We come with so much experience. You just need somewhere where your experience can fit in. And it might not be all of your experience. It might just be snippets of the knowledge that you have. Find a way to make whatever is happening to you work for you. And that was how I started at ODPRN. I sent in it.
Regarding this question, Zainab, people generally they just search for a pharmacy assistant job. If you are a
Yes,
pharmacist, they apply for
yes.
pharmacy assistant job.
I heard.
If
I was
not, they
also
would just
looking.
look into doing the survival job. People
Yes.
don't even think about what is there in the community sector, what is there in the pharmaceutical sector. People don't even have that. Even I myself, it took good amount of time for me. So I'm surprised to know that how you are able to land on to this first role.
Yes, so it was just a lucky search. Okay, so prior to coming, I'd been talking, remember I said planning and be talking to people that I know. So I had been talking to lots of people, and everyone kept on telling me, oh, clinical research, you can go into clinical research as a way of waiting. And then we know that the pharmacy assistant is like a minimum wage job. The amount of hours are not corresponding with the time. And I kept on telling myself, okay, now I have a spouse who is studying, who is also going to be busy, who is also going to probably be working, juggling everything. And here we have family on the other hand. And like I said, I'm a family oriented person, so I wouldn't want us to be short on all of the angles. We needed to make decisions of things that will work in our factor collectively. And luckily, from another goodwill, we were able to get a reference, and almost I think just a week from when we landed, my husband was able to get a job.
Yeah.
References still work in Canada. They do things the old way here. If you're going to apply for a job, just know that you will be applying up to 2,000 to 3,000 jobs in a week before you get one interview. That's the reality. It's not anybody trying to paint another picture for you, but that's the reality of ground, especially if you didn't come with a work permit or if you didn't come on a permanent residence or as a refugee. Students have it difficult more than, but the most important thing is that you can always find a way and go out of your way to make things happen for you. There are opportunities for us as healthcare practitioners that we can find ourselves. We can be on boards, we can be on research committees, we could be research volunteers, we could be, so many opportunities are out there.
Yep.
Don't limit your scope of work to just okay your licensure process, your registration process. It will be difficult because those decisions need finances that you don't have at that moment. So is it okay to pick up something to do short term while you're planning on what your long term goal is? Absolutely, that's fine, but my advice would be don't get stuck in just that, because that's not where your goal is. That's not what you're looking for. You came to this country to find something better, if not better than where you're coming from. But you could be of value. Your degree is not just much more than ending where you're coming from. Your skills and values are needed here in Canada too. Although the system might be telling you something else, but they need us. They need you. We're a good resource, we're a good value. So create those opportunities for yourself wherever you find yourself. They are there. The universe
Yeah.
has a way of answering you if you're looking for something.
But we don't even know where to look for. That's the issue, right? We don't know
Aha, so
what to
that's
look
where
for
wonder is
also.
coming from,
Yes,
Said, and
yes,
other people
yes.
are using their experiences to shape the future of others. They're using
Yeah,
their own setbacks to make sure that other people don't have to go through the same thing. If we have crawled, then someone else coming after us should not crawl again. The person should start to run, or if not walk, or even fly,
yes,
take
at least.
flight. Is it so?
Yes, at least.
It's the way of the world. Some of us have to sacrifice for others, and it's a cycle. It continues. So,
Badly. Yes. So if you would, Zainab, if you could tell that, what are the different pathway for a pharmacy graduate? And is there a certification involved for all the different pathways? And if before going towards the PEBC and pharmacist or pharmacy technician exams, if you could just share that instead of these two options, pharmacist and pharmacy technician, what other opportunities are there for the pharmacy graduate other than the pharmacy assistant? And what other certification needs to be done for research
okay.
or those things?
So generally, for if it's in clinical research, you have to have the NIDA, ICH, GCP. The GCP is like the Bible, or if you have, or let me just, what, or would I say it's like the law and regulations of what is obtainable. It contains the code of ethics, what informed consent is, how to go about clinical trials from start to finish. So you have to know that like your backbone. If you're so another thing is that for us, especially pharmacists or doctors or nurses, we have had similar experiences from where we're coming from. The only difference is that it was not called clinical. So it means that you have a lot to do to come up with the link, to match up to the lingo, to be able to speak the words as the interviewer or your employers will speak it. So for example, back home, you can't auscultate your patient without the informed consent. The only difference is that they didn't sign a paper, but you had to ask, is it for me to go ahead with this person? That's informed consent. But here, the informed consent in Canada is you read a paper, you tell the person this is the information, all necessary informations have to be there, and the patient needs to consent. The first thing to do is what are the differences between how it's been done back home and how it's being done here, and you need to be able to know that. So the only way you can do that is if you're looking at job descriptions, if you follow. So how do I say this now? Okay, so for me, remember I said I had people who were already in the field of clinical research here, and who were also pharmacists or healthcare professionals from back home. So it was easier to get the information that clinical research is an alternative for healthcare professionals, which was the idea that I had from back home. So immediately I landed, I needed to find other clinical research professionals that I could maybe tap ideas from or see. Now I fall back to community. There was a Nigerians in clinical research group as at that time. So I joined, and when I joined, we were hosting boot camps, and because I've had previous experience as an event planner and organizer, it was easy for me to volunteer for that group. So I was able to volunteer, we were able to bring people on board. We would have boot camps every Saturday. We would bring in people in professionals in regulatory, in all works of clinical research coordinators, study managers, clinical project managers. We brought people from different experiences to share with others. So it was another way that I was able to build on my own experience. Now I was able to see other people who are like me, who are doing this in their field and excelling at it. So from there I was able to garner knowledge. So sometimes we're sponges, we soak from others.
Just absorb it.
Remember I said their
Yeah.
experiences become yours. So even if I have not done those things in Canada, because I'm where I am soaking up these experiences from time to time, that also brings me back to the importance of attending webinars, attending conferences, Zoom calls, whichever find yourself there. That's the best way.
The
Let your
new
camera be
information.
on. Let
Yes.
people see you. That's the best way you can get information for free. That's the best way you can market yourself. No holds bar. The person doesn't have to give you a job. The person doesn't have to give you anything. But you're hearing about your experiences,
It's
and you
experience.
planted a seed in the person's mind that, oh, I think this person is capable of doing so and so. Perhaps I could help this person out, or I could do something for them. So don't forget webinars, conferences, events, they're opportunity for you to tout yourself. In Canada, when you have done A, it's the norm. When you have done A, don't just stick with the A. You need to be able to say that you have done A. You need to be able to tout it. Everybody has to know that you did the A. So some of those are culture shocks from back home. We back home,
Won't share.
you don't shout. You don't need to. Your work tells itself. But here, even someone who did not participate in getting the job done, if the person can talk about it better than you, best believe everyone would think that other person did the job.
Person did.
Meanwhile, maybe
Yeah.
they were not the main lead, or they might not have even been on the team. They perhaps heard it from someone else. So that's another thing. We need to be able to brush up our oratory skills, our communication skills. So it's lots of things you're facing when you come in. So you need to be prepared for the journey. And then volunteering, quote and unquote, helps you do this. Like I said, I was volunteering for that group at that time. I was volunteering as part of the event managers for the series of events we're having. I was also volunteering as a back person and communication person. And these are also skills that I've had from back home too, perhaps from my profession or things that I've done also. And even back home too, I was an active volunteer. I volunteered at so many things. I'm an active
Stuff.
person,
Okay.
so
Yeah.
you can't take that away from me. That's why when I said,
Okay.
whenever I find myself somewhere, I just find somewhere to place
I know
myself.
you travel for close to 2 hours to attend the March 1st event for Oneness
Yes.
also. You do that going out of your way to be present. So you were saying about the different group and associations, right? Do they
Yes.
still, or they still active? Can people can still join? Because we are trying to build the similar stuff as such. But is there any
Um,
other association for pharmacists who are trying
for
to be active for
pharmacists too.
people to?
Oh, okay. I know Access Alliances, they have a research network for international professionals, and it's free to join. You just perhaps look for the link and try to share with the group.
I can add that in the
Yes.
description for sure. Yeah, I'll
Okay,
do that.
yes.
Yeah.
So you
Yeah.
can, that's one I know that you can join. There are lots of, I know there is Seeking Clinical Research, there is Black Women in Clinical Research, there are a whole lot. If you start with LinkedIn alone, from the beginning of the day till the end of the day,
Okay.
you will,
Okay.
you just need to
Yeah.
put yourself out there. You just need to research some more. But I know Access Alliance has something for international graduated professionals. I know
For
that for
sure.
sure.
For sure.
But for the
Yeah.
Nigerians in clinical research, you can check them on LinkedIn and follow them. And then, but
Okay.
I'm not sure if it's still as active as it used to be. There were lots of things
Okay.
going on,
Okay.
but you can check.
Good.
But that's another thing. It's important to have a good LinkedIn account. Now, your LinkedIn account will
Wanted
not be
to
built
ask about that.
in
Yeah.
LinkedIn account is to shadow others who are already in the industry or who are already in the position you want to be. LinkedIn is a good resource. If whichever field you're going to, check job descriptions on Indeed, on Facebook, everywhere. Place that job description on your LinkedIn, and you will find people who are already doing some of those job descriptions.
A similar
Or
job.
even
Yeah.
if it's just the name of the role, that's another way. That's how I did it. I shadowed a lot of LinkedIn profiles. I followed lots of people who were in clinical research, people who were pharmacists, anybody and everybody in the scope of job descriptions that I knew that I was capable of doing. I followed everyone. I mirrored all. I went to check their licenses and certifications so that I know what I need to do to, how would I put it, to prepare for any opportunity that might come. So it's a lot of work when you, from the moment you land in the airport, it's one thing against the other, and you need to place yourself to receive those opportunities. So if I didn't mention, as at this time when we landed, I didn't land with my work permit. I had to flagpole to get my work permits because it was taking too long. We'd already applied online, and for good to 6 months, no, okay, maybe I think it's not up to 6 months, but maybe up to 3-4 months, I didn't get the work permit. So, and that was how I got
You
ODPRN.
came with the visitor visa or what?
Yes, my
When you
student,
came
my
with the visitor
husband.
visa?
No, my spouse came in through the study permit.
Your
So
student
I
permit.
didn't get my work permit at the airport as at that time. They were not processing
Okay,
the
okay,
work
right.
permit at the same time. So we had to come and
Understood.
apply online, which I did,
Makes
and
sense.
it took forever. So, like I said, precedence also, and I could not just be waiting on docs and on my hands and everything, and that was how I
Right,
got
right.
the opportunity for
But now they
ODPRN.
removed that option. Nowadays there is
Yes,
no more flag polling.
no more
Recently they
flag
removed that
polling.
option.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that was how I got the chance at ODPRN, and I was freelancing there. Albeit it was on the full-time work, but it served the purposes that I needed for then and now. I'm still on their board, and I'm still an active member. We do bi-weekly meetings and we do lots of different programs. I'm sure you must have seen some of my posts on LinkedIn
Yes, I did.
for the programs that we're doing. So,
You guys are doing
well,
amazing work. Yeah, for sure.
like I said, it's important that you place yourself for opportunities to come. And then afterwards, I went on to do my PSW, my personal support worker course, and that was another free one.
Okay, right.
That was another free one.
But how did you get a free one?
Yes, when I came in, I don't know, I think maybe shortly after we came in, I saw somewhere online, so I was always online. That was like my 24/7 workers at that time. I was hungry and looking everywhere and everywhere.
Yeah.
And then I saw a link for a career services person, David, at that time. And then we were asked to send a mail and contact the person on the flyer, which I did. And then he told me, oh, sorry, because I'm on work permit, I
It's
do
what
not
I thought.
have.
Yeah,
Yes, that because it was for refugees and PRs at that time.
yes.
But that I should be patient. The government is perhaps looking into having more PSWs, and there might be something coming up, but I should keep in touch with him. That's another thing. Try to keep in touch. Whoever you've come across with, you don't know who has the potential to make things better for you. Keep in touch with people. Hello, hi, how are you doing? How was your day? Finish. Whether the person replies or not,
Bi-weekly at least.
you're planting seeds in people's mind. Remember, I mentioned volunteering when we came. When we also came, I joined a Nigerians in Brantford group where I was volunteering as event manager too in that group. And in that group,
Yeah, you put on
COVID
Yeah.
and everything. So I just came in, I joined, fortunately I joined the admin, and then that was it. We planned a party for about 300 people. Wow, 300 Nigerians. I didn't even know there were so many people here that were Nigerians. So that's also creating community for yourself. So I joined the group. I did the Canva design for all the flyers. We had food. We had so many things, so many active planning. So you're good for more than just being a healthcare professional. There's so many skills. It's IT, data, whatever skills that you have, don't let it go to waste. Find somewhere where those skills can either translate to money for you or translate to work experience for you. Because believe you me, in Canada, that work experience is a thing. Though the government would like to believe that people are not, well, it's not part of the job requirements, but it's a thing. And the Canadian work experience is not just because you have worked somewhere. It means that other people are able to ascertain your work ethic. Other people are able to speak on how you related with others, and that is what your Canadian experience is. Here in Canada, It's a big deal for interpersonal relationships. You have to, that's what your Canadian experience is. And if we go on that journey now, that's a whole lot. But I would like people to walk away with that. Your Canadian experience is how you have used your interpersonal relationships. It matters here. In Canada, it's not how well you did the job or if you did the job in less times. No. It's how you made your colleague feel and felt and will be feeling while you were on that job. That's
Very well
what your
said.
Canadian
I
experience is
always share
about.
this part. Yeah, it's not just IQ alone. It's just not technical skill alone. It's about emotional intelligence.
Emotional,
It's
yes.
about, yeah, interprofessional relationship. Very well said.
True.
Yeah.
And you need it because you're now in a different work environment. You're working with different people with different ideology. Back home, yes, your job is 8 to 5, 9 to 5, yes. But believe you me, there's certain things that because you've been doing it over and over again, you would increase efficiency. You'll probably be able to do in less time. And you're rewarded for efficiency. But here it's not. Your job description says it's 8 hours. You are supposed to do that task for 8 hours, not do it in less time. Nobody's going to acknowledge you for doing it in less time. Nobody's going to pay you more for doing it in less time. Those are some of the culture shocks
So
that you
thanks
will
for
find.
addressing that. Yeah. Yeah.
Home is efficiency. Here, everyone just wants to get the job done. And as international professionals, we would have issues with it because that's not what you're used to. You're used to the outcome. Your outcome will speak for yourself. I've done my job diligently. I've done it consecutively. I will be promoted. That's it. Here, it's not that. There are lots of things. There's office politics. And you cannot get all of those experiences if you don't find somewhere that is relevant to where you are going. It's not possible. You need to
Yeah.
be able to position yourself for opportunities that will come. That was how David, I didn't lose his contact. I kept on calling. I kept on talking to him. I think he's in Ottawa.
Yeah.
Later on, he asked me that, oh, I'm so good at what I do that can I come and work as an assistant for him or something. I'm like, oh, I'm far away from you, but if it's something I can do remotely, fine. So it
Remotely. Yeah.
means that he has me in mind for any opportunity that will come.
Okay. Thank you for stressing this. People needs to hear this very clearly. So this is the guy who is giving PSW
Sorry, I
opportunity because
think
we are
I've.
discussing up. Yes, yes, yes. Now, is this the
So,
same guy who is giving the PSW opportunity?
yes, who is given the
Okay,
PSW
okay, yeah.
opportunity.
Okay.
What then happened? I think, okay, so after a while, this was sometime in, I started speaking to him in June, so in September, but between June and September, I'd already started with ODPRN. Remember that I'm also volunteering as event manager for some groups and all of that. So there were places that I was utilizing myself personally, intellectually. I was also hearing other and sharing from other people's experiences too. So it's a long journey, it's a process. It's tough giving of yourself every time without receiving. It's not every time that you give yourself and you receive. Sometimes you might be lucky and sometimes you might not. Sometimes it might work in your favor, but should it mean that you stop? No, you have to continue till you get to your goal. That's not your goal. We continued, and then in between I got my driver's license. And here
Yes,
in
congrats.
Canada,
Yeah.
yes, driving is a necessity for everyone. Whether you're ready to drive or not, you need to, because your driver's license does more for you, is the means of identity here. So I would always advise newcomers to, when you come, you don't necessarily have to finish the process at once. Even if it's just your G, go do the exam. If you could get someone to send you the handbook before leaving, if you have time on your hands before leaving your home country, go through the exam. I had people who were on my neck. When am I going to write my exam? When you land, the first thing you should do,
Yeah.
go get your SIN. Do
Get
your
the
driver's.
Geo.
You can't
Yeah.
take away that we had people in our corner too. For this goes for students who are married and have kids. Have
Yeah.
someone you can also mirror. who perhaps have gone through the same journey, or they're on a different journey, or have people who have value the same values. We had a family here, the person who helped us to secure the apartment. We would always discuss, we would always tell him, okay, this is what we're doing now, what should we be doing, how should we go about this, where should we go, what did we do. When we came, people noticed that most people didn't know that we came in as students. People thought we came in as permanent residents because
Oh,
of
yeah.
the
May God
because
bless the
of the
couple, whoever helped you. Yeah,
yes, so
yeah.
because of the kind of decisions we were making, because of the kind of steps we were taking, most students don't take those steps. Maybe because they don't know better, or because they don't have someone who will be willing to take them through, who will be willing to take them through this. Excuse me, please, I'm having a call. Who will be taking them through some of those things. So we had someone that we could mirror. They came in as permanent residents, and then it was easy to just use their experience to build on what we're going to do. So then, before the PSW opportunity, there was an ad on our WhatsApp group for a cleaning job. The person was looking for a student to do the cleaning. They were specific. And I just saw the opportunity, and I just told my spouse then,
Mm. Yes.
let's just try. Let's just give it a try. What's the worst that can happen? And back home,
Yes.
we do
That's
our
another
cleaning
thing. Oh,
ourselves.
in
We
Canada,
make our
exactly.
soap. We make our soap ourselves. We do everything
Yeah.
ourselves. So what's the worst that can happen? Then we went online. I used to do Canva. I used to work on Canva before. So I made a flyer. I put in our numbers. That if this one clicks, maybe we could be doing cleaning for people. And that was it. So it went for that one job. It was good. And then that was how the business started. Immediately after that, we posted on the group. People started calling us to
Yes.
come and clean for them. So we had clients on bi-weekly, we had clients on monthly. Then we went on to move in, move out. If you're moving in, we can come and clean. If you're moving out,
Amazing.
we could come and clean. So that was how the entrepreneurship journey here started. So
Nice
remember, I
rocket for you.
said you have to prepare for opportunities. You also have to place yourselves in where opportunities will meet you. Your work ethic also speaks for you. If we didn't do that first job well, perhaps we might not have gotten the subsequent ones, because everyone now started referring us and recommending us to do the cleaning. Cleaning for everyone is a hassle, because I can't imagine how much hours you would go through to clean your house thoroughly in the best way that you know how. And my work ethic is, I would do your house the way I will do mine. I would
We'll
not
do it
do
for your
anything,
house.
I would not do anything less. So that was our motto, and we went in that business. In the first,
You're still doing
should
it.
I say maybe 2 to
You're
3 years, we're still
registered.
doing it off and on, yes. So in the
Yeah.
first, I think in
Amazing.
the first 2 to 3 months, we made about 8,000 Canadian dollars, and that was how we got our first car. Or even before then. So
Amazing.
okay,
I
we
should
bought our
have that. Yeah.
car, yes, because
Yeah.
in the city we are in, there is a transit, but the transit is slow and it's not cost effective. Because in the whole of where we are, you can go around in 15 minutes. But if you're going to hop on the bus and you need to go somewhere else, it will take you a
Nice
lot
one.
of time, considering that they close and open at certain times, which was working against us. So we needed to improvise.
Indeed.
So some of the savings that we brought in, we used it to purchase a car. And then
Amazing.
after a short while of doing the cleaning jobs, we were able to reimburse the savings. So, like I said, is it still possible to make money? Are opportunities there? Of course they are there.
Yes, for
But
sure.
because you have not
Yeah.
thought out of the box, because you have not seen that you could utilize yourself in ways better than where you're currently at, because you're only seeing the current situation you are in, you're not seeing the long term. And it's difficult if you don't have the peace, if you don't have the financial wherewithal to make these decisions. It might be difficult for you. Remember that we had
That's it.
active
Yeah.
planning before we came. We had to look at all the holistic views and everything, which made our journey easier. Another thing that is difficult for people is food, settling down. So we shipped some food items from Nigeria, we shipped them here ahead of time. So they only landed about, I think, a month or two after we already got here. We shipped about 410 kilogram worth of items. Yes. Yes. Some of those items,
Yes.
I still have them till now and
Yeah.
I'm eating. That was how we were able to save money on food because we had already spent the majority of that money from where
This
we're
is
coming from.
this is
So I
amazing.
remember I
Yeah.
said I was into food production. So we had to buy these clear bags. We labeled everything. Everything had to be good. We handled our items with care, with gloves. Between I and my spouse, we were going to the market to purchase food items. We would bag, just the two of us. We're doing so much. You can't take away planning from your journey. You can't. Because here in Canada, food, clothing, those two items take a lot from you. Remember, the Canada is seasonal. You're dressing according to seasons. That's another habit people need to curtail. Don't just go out on every whim and limb and buy everything and anything. I do not wear clothes that I cannot wear in all seasons. It's not possible. The only thing that changes for me when
Reset
it
of
comes
clothes.
to
Yeah.
winter is just the
Yeah.
jacket. That's the only thing that changes. It's not that can I afford it? Yes, maybe. But I know where my journey is going. I know what I need the money for. I know what I
The
need my
priority should be
finances
different.
for.
Yes.
So, yes, you have to practice delayed gratification if you want to enjoy your benefits of coming here as an immigrant. You will still have all of those things. But right now, is it the best practicable? No. And for those who have families too, especially if you have young growing children, the clothes are expensive. Apart from them being expensive, small time, it's turn. You're
Grow
using washing
fast.
machines over and they're growing. So for me, what I do for my daughter, even from back home, is that it might sound ridiculous, but these are practical ways that I have established myself, even from back home. She doesn't wear any clothes in her current size. She will continue to wear it till she outgrows it. I always buy sizes bigger than her. She will wear it till she grows
Okay.
into it. Same thing shoes. That way, because you would always want to go with the trend, and the trend never ends. Shoes, I only get shoes in general colors. You get black, you get pink. You get pink. You get. Can she wear it with whatever color? That's all that matters. Is can I afford it? Yes, that's it. So you need those decisions. Those decisions, they help you in your journey. They help you as a whole, because if you look at the amount you save on all of this and you spread it over time and you are able to peg those costs, you will have a lot that you have saved, and you need
That's
to
something
save a
that,
lot.
yeah, only when you calculate, you would know that how much money you are saving as such. So I'm really
Yes.
glad that you are clearly stating this for the family who are moving here. But again,
Yeah.
I'm really also interested to know that how you, with the work permit, how you were able to do a free PSW coach. How you were
Okay,
able to do
so
that.
so
Then,
for
yeah,
David, remember as at
yeah,
this time, so that was
yeah,
when I got my driver's license. I went ahead, I
yeah,
did my G1, I got my the same day I got my SIN, the same day I went to RBC, I opened an account. It was like a win for me on that day.
yeah.
So many things happened. And then I just got a call from David. Oh, there's an opportunity currently, and the opportunity might close soon, that the government has now approved for work permits, PR, and refugees to apply for this funding, and you will get it, and blah, 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 blah. Anderson College is available, like that. And that these were the documents I needed. Fortunately,
Yeah.
those were the documents I got on that same day.
On the
On
same.
that same
Yeah,
day, those were the
yeah.
documents that I got. So, like I said, if you follow
Amazing.
me
Yeah.
from now up until now, you need to position yourself for opportunities, because you never can tell when they are going to come. So, and that was how I got in. I submitted all of the necessary documentations. We applied, and the course was for, I think, about 6 months, from October 2022 to March 2023. So that was
Is it
how
an
I got
in-person
the
course?
what?
Is it an in-person course?
Yes, it was in person and online. It was
Okay,
both.
which college did you choose? What was the college?
Anderson College.
Yeah, Anderson College. They are
Yes,
amazing.
Anderson
Nowadays,
College
they
do.
have a lot of good
Yes,
courses for
yes,
the
they
right
do.
prices also.
Despite
Yeah.
that they're a private college, they still have,
Yeah.
because it was good. And for me, because I had my healthcare background, it was more like a walk in the park. But another reason why I took that course was because I knew that if I were to enter the express entry pool, having a Canadian education, same as my spouse, would increase our chances. So
Yes.
PR, once again, PR is the goal.
You have to keep that in the
Anything
mind.
that would
Yeah.
allow you to achieve your PR goals in the least shortest possible time is the goal. It's difficult having to make these decisions between you. It was difficult. It was a tough time for me and my spouse, especially when I started the internship. It was difficult. We're talking about home management. It would drive me. Once he returns from work in the morning, he was working a nightly 12-hour shift. Once he returns from work, because it was not time saving or cost effective for me to go from here to North York. That was the campus that was available. So it would drive me from here to North York. So you cannot take away family support. Here, both of us, we have each other at every point in time. I'm supporting him, he's supporting me, and vice versa. We are behind everyone. And by his side and behind him is behind me, and whichever analogy that we want to. So you cannot take away that spouses, if you come in with children, it's difficult. But what will help is the strategies and the things you've put in place back home before coming here. It's difficult now coming with new strategies on how to find your family balance. It's difficult, and sometimes this is the reason why immigration and people migrate tear some family apart. It's a reality. It's a reality that people are facing. It's a lot. The changes here are different from the changes back home. So here, the changes are a lot. They are different. But what your strategy is, for me, if there's something that I will not do, I don't bother starting it. I don't start. Same thing too with my family members. I don't start it. Everyone will do their chores. Everyone will contribute to making this family. We'll go outside and smile. And it's because we already have a united front. From home is where everything starts from me. So some
Yes.
strategies work depending on your family and what your
Yeah.
history and everything is. But if those strategies have been working for you, know that immigration would either test it. If the foundation is strong, it will test it. If the foundation is not, it will be broken. It's a reality. And all of these factors make us whole as an individual. It contributes to our mental wellness. It contributes to how we deliver on the job. If you're having stressful situations at home, it will affect you on the job. It will affect your reasoning level. It will affect the things, your proactiveness. It will affect how you go about things. If you're not united in whatever decisions you're making, it will always, we tend to lie to ourselves as humans, and it's understandable. We can't have it all at once. It's not possible. Some things will have to take the back burner for other things. Whichever ball you want to juggle and you want to drop, you would always have those situations. But in all of it,
We
never
choose
forget,
consciously.
yes, in all of those things, choose consciously. And don't forget that your dreams are valid and they will come true. It's just a matter of time. But some things would have to wait for whatever it is that is waiting. I wouldn't know. I wouldn't be able to say because
So
circumstances are
when you,
different.
yeah, when you
So
talk
that
about
was
dream,
how,
now I
yes,
am,
please.
yeah. Sorry, when you talk about dream, I am like, now I'm realizing that you have priorities coming to Canada, which made it possible through the study permit. Then you prioritized again making some income, so volunteering and starting your own
Mm-hmm.
business. And then for PR, you chose PSW. So, and for the long term dream, I could see that most of the short-term and mid-term career and life things have been sorted out. From what I've been hearing from your history and journey, what would you say about when you talk about dream right now? Is there a dream which is still pending in this country? Is there any dream which is still pending for a career as such?
Yes, sure. My next mountain to climb, if I can put
Yeah.
it that way, is my licensor. So I found out that no matter how much I circled and danced round clinical research,
Yeah.
yes. So I kept on thinking to myself, and I kept on asking everybody, what's their experience like? What is the backup?
You also had a ACRP certification, if I'm not wrong. You got your certification also, right?
Yes, I got my certification, but the reason why I got that certification was because of my permanent residence, was to get an academic standing in Canada, which will help our permanent residency application. I didn't get the PSW course because I wanted to work as a PSW. No, my
Yeah.
intention was different. I was just
Yes.
lucky that and I didn't want to pay for the course. So that was another
Didn't
thing.
want to pay.
And I was
Yeah.
lucky that it came through that way. And then upon doing the internship, I was more convinced than ever that this is not where I want to be. Was it good while it was going? Yes. In the short term, it was, but that was not where my long term was. My long term has always been to own a pharmacy of my own wherever I was. That
Sure.
was my long
Sure.
term.
For sure.
That I was still going to
Yes.
practice as a pharmacist, or even if I was not practicing as a pharmacist, I wanted to be a business owner, which would afford me the comfort of being with my family, the comfort of doing what I love, and still being relevant and still being able to give back, which has always been the goal. And now moving to Canada, I can't have that dream unless I pursue my licensure. I can't have that dream even if I've circled back everything. It wouldn't have paid me if I'd stayed so many years in clinical research and not achieved my licensure and registration in the earliest. It won't pay me because one,
But
I will be older. Yes.
yeah, but however, this ACRP that did it add any value being a CCRP member as such?
Oh yes, it did. It did. It
Yeah,
did.
but you still feel like it is not good for a long run.
No, it like I said, everything that happens to us is consequential, and it depends on your circumstances as at that time. Almost everyone I followed had ACRP certifications or CCRP certification, and there were some things that if they were on your resume, it would show to the HR or your
Okay,
employers
yeah,
that you know what
yes,
you're doing. So having the
yes,
CCRP or ACRP was a good way to also show that you are a member of an affiliation where
yes,
things can be tracked and followed. And then you also do exams to keep up to date with the knowledge and all of that. So that helped in that angle. And as at that time, I think there was I was lucky, I got one free various academy course, which I did, and allowed me to get the ACRP registration for free as at that time too. So it was just one of my lucky strolls online too. That course is heavily paid for, and then but with they have a sponsorship from IQVIA, which allows that portion of the course to be free for a limited time. So that day it was, I think it was between 11 p.m. and 12 a.m. that I just saw it. I was online and I saw it, and immediately I was sending Ose a message that, oh, I saw him that he had done this course. Can you quickly tell me about this course? I'm seeing it now. And he just told me, just be quick and go ahead. And that was it. The
for
following
sure,
day,
if
it was no longer
yeah,
free.
okay,
It was no
sorry, yeah,
longer
now I
free.
understood, yeah, for sure. Yeah. So just for that moment, I'm
It
glad
was
that you
just
were
for
able
that
to be
moment.
present
So, and that was how
to have.
I made use of the opportunity. So, which also formed my knowledge of what clinical research is about, clinical trials. And I also did the certifications. I was doing those certifications back to back. Most of them were free also as at that time. I always tell people they're free resources. If you can find them free, use them first. Then when it comes to payment, you prioritize. Is this something that I need to do right now? Can I do something else rather than this? Is that weigh your options first? Because you need as much money as you can in everything you're doing. And if those resources are not available to you, it might make it difficult for you to also make some other decisions. So that's how I got my ACRP certification and my registration with ACRP. Then I started to think to myself, of what benefit would it value me, if would it be to me rather, if I didn't complete my licensure as a pharmacist? It would then mean that the pharmacy that I want to own, I can't own it. To own a pharmacy here in Canada is either you are in association with someone or in partnership rather with someone. One of you has to be a pharmacist while another person is a business oriented person. The person who is a pharmacist needs to be licensed and registered to practice as a pharmacist. So it means I cannot run away from my license, or no matter how much I look at it. Pharmacists will always be in demand. With the adventure of AI, some clinical research roles are being eliminated. So it now boils down to the question of, what am I going to do that is my long term, that would secure me no matter what, if all else fails? What would be my, which I kept on circling back to my licensor. So during the period when I was doing my internship for my PSW, I now started to find out more. I sat in for the exam, but I underestimated the exam. It was so short, the period of time that I applied. I submitted my application in March, and then the exam was in June. So I thought like I could barrage through it and everything. It was too short. So I only focused on some aspects of the exam, just the priority notes. And then unfortunately I didn't make the exam. For the longest time afterwards, I was numb, because remember, I'm not used to failing at something, especially academically. Yes. It's something that is foreign to me. If I'm going to relate that experience with other people too, we have people like me too who would have those stumbling blocks. If you're going to write any of your licensure exam, believe you me, you can't do it in a short possible time. You need an ample amount of time to cover the syllabus, to prepare, to attend tutorials, to attend study groups, to find resources. It's an investment. Besides, remember that there are cost implications too. Finding those tutorials, applying for the exams back to back or with spaces in between too, you need to use every resource that is available to you, and at least you need up to 6 to 8 months preparation time, full-time preparation time. If you can take a part-time job, please by all means do, if finances is not your problem. For me, I would say that in our own situation, between I and my spouse, finances is not really the major problem, because he went on to get a supervisor job after a while. I would say finances is not the problem, which can also allow us to make the kind of decisions I'm making. I'm aware that some other people cannot afford to make those types of decisions. All hands have to be on deck. But the most important thing is you keep circling back, keep checking. Am I meeting the goals of the things I want to achieve? Can the things I'm doing now add up to the total of what I need? If you can answer it as yes, then go ahead and give it all that you've got. So I was burnt the first time, and I told myself the next time I'm going to write this exam, there is no way that I'm not coming prepared. I would use all the resources available for me, and I will make sure that other people who are going to write this exam will not have the same issues as I did. So I started downloading sure S1E1 would. So for every information I saw out there, I would download. People sharing their own reading resources and everything, I would always download, despite not actively planning for the exam as at that time. But I was just keeping the information for when I'm going to need it. And then later ones, one day I just woke up and I just told myself, there is no running around. There is no running around. The time is now. The age, everything, the resources are available to me right now. So the time is now. I have to be able to apportion time to go ahead with it. and hopefully this time it's one long haul.
So,
It's going to be
with God's
everything,
grace.
the
Sure.
ducks in a row, everything that I need to write the exam. Prior to coming here, I'd already done a step of the document evaluation, because you also need it for your express entry profile for pharmacists too.
Yeah, PEBC,
So
yes, you need to have
yes,
that.
for your PEBC, you
Yeah.
need to have done the document evaluation. So I done mine 5 years ago in 2018, and as at the time,
Okay.
that was another reason why I wrote the exam in 2023 at that time, despite the short, because I didn't want the PEBC document evaluation to expire.
We
It has
expired.
five
Okay.
years validity, so I had to rush to do the exam in the hope
Now
that
you have to redo it.
yes, you
You
have to
got an evaluation.
reevaluate again. So I had to rush to do the exam in the hopes that if I
Yeah.
passed the EE, I will have to do the
You don't need it.
evaluation again.
Yeah.
But
Okay.
unfortunately,
Okay.
I had to do the evaluation all over again. Now, this is why, you remember I said, do not lose contact with people. I have a bad habit, or sometimes it's good. I don't delete contacts on my phone.
Oh,
I
yes.
just carry them over. So
Yeah.
the guy who helped with my letter of good standing back home 5 years ago, I still had his number, and he was still the
Yeah.
one doing the letter of good standing for the
Good.
regulatory body at home. So I just picked up where we left from, and everything went smoothly. So when you're doing your reevaluation, you don't need to
Good.
send as much documentation as you did prior. You just need to send your letter of good standing and your
Okay. Okay.
identification when you're doing
Makes sense.
the reevaluation, and pay for the reevaluation. So for international graduated pharmacists, your first step is to apply to NAPRA. There is a cost. I'm not sure what the current cost is, but you apply from NAPRA, then you do your document evaluation. So before, 5 years ago, as at the first time I did it, you needed to courier your transcript, which takes time. So that's another thing. In the whole of this journey, preparedness gets you ahead every time. I have found it time and time again. Preparedness gets you ahead. So because that could take time, the courier service, your school processing the transcript can take a lot of time, and it's from the school that would send the transcript to PEBC. And now there is opportunity for you to email your transcript, as opposed to only courier services that were available before. There is the opportunity of sending via email or courier to the PEBC board, and now they have a portal. Before there was no portal,
Okay.
and the correspondence too was not so great. Then you could send them messages for a long time and they won't reply you.
They will not
But
respond.
now everything is being done through the portal. It will update whenever you need to do any step of the process. The portal will automatically update itself.
This is in the NAPRA portal or a different portal.
No, from the PEBC portal.
Okay, NAPRA is just to create the ID then. It's just the
Yes,
initial
NAPRA
part,
is
then
just to
everything you have to
create
do with
ID. Yes. So it's the
makes sense.
ID
Makes sense. Okay.
is the ID you would use for your document evaluation. And that ID that NAPRA gives you is the ID you will continue to use all through your licensure process. So NAPRA will give you an ID, your PEBC will also give you an ID. So the ID PEBC, excuse me please, the ID PEBC gives you for your documents after your document evaluation, it could take as much as weeks up until months, depending on how early all the documentation gets to them. So for your document evaluation, you need your transcript, you also need attestation, you also need that you could translate if some of your documents are not available in English, you need to translate them, and you need the court of law or to also attest it. So you could use
Rotary. Yeah.
yes, you could use a notary public to help you attest some of your documentation, but be sure to check the PEBC website. They always update the information from time to time, which also includes a change in address. I know they changed their address recently for people who are not up to date. Whatever information you're looking for will always be on the PEBC website. So
Amazing,
after the
amazing.
document evaluation, you would now go on to the evaluation exam. which is what I'm sitting for, and I'm hoping to write sometime in January 2025. And I've already started prepare
And what
course.
about this bridging program? These three, I think you would be the right person to answer because you are right now walking this journey.
Working the part. I think one,
Yeah.
our abilities are different from each other. We need to be truthful with ourselves. Some of us have graduated 10, 14 years ago, and your brain and memory might not serve you as well as previously. So you are in the best position to know yourself better. Now, it's not necessarily impossible, but it is possible to not pay outrightly for some of these courses and still do well. But you cannot say that you don't need the courses. So this is what I mean by that. For pharmacy, for Miss Bar, they have different focuses. Miss Bar is more, I give you the short notes in the preparation for the exam that you're writing. That's it. You just need to, on a need to know basis. While pharmacy is more elaborate, it's more like they're preparing you for the whole journey and for all the exams, as if they're teaching you all over again from
All
your
over again. Okay.
undergrad. Pharmacy to some extent is more voluminous and it's detailed. So people either mix the two courses together. If your finances are available to you, you can do the two tutorials together and then weigh your options. Another way people have been able to
Okay.
come
Okay.
around this is to be able to pull resources together. So people share logins. PharmaChief is copyrighted and
Yeah.
they frown upon it, but that's what people do. People pull resources, you pay certain amounts, you divide it amongst yourself to be able to pay for the course and then share their login. And this is where community also comes in. There are several WhatsApp groups for for evaluation exam, for MCQ, for OSCE. There's several WhatsApp groups, and then people from the benevolence of their heart share some of these documentations or
3 years and
some of these
documents. Okay.
reading resources. So that's what I meant by it's possible that you might not pay for some of these courses and still benefit, but you need to read far and wide. And it's not an exam that you can write on your own. Those tutorials help. The WhatsApp study groups also help because some of us are good
We
in
need someone to
calculation.
study.
Yeah,
Yeah.
some of us are good in calculations, while some are good in pharmaceutical sciences, some is microbiology, some is pharmacology. So if you have all the wealth of knowledge in one group, it makes it better. There's some things that you read on your own and you might not understand quickly, or you didn't just understand the concept as at that time. Being in such groups helps to bring it back home. It might just be an explanation the person made, or it might just be questions that you guys are going through during the revision that helps you to remember, oh, I've seen this question before and I know the answer. So and those were the things we would do back home too. When we were in our undergrad, we would read, we would form study groups. So all of you would go for tutorials that you had to pay for, or maybe your classmate or your colleague is the one taking the tutorial. So those same things are what is being replicated in this system. So there are other groups also doing the tutorials. Like you have FarmGate, you have Farm Spirit. I know you have Soul RX for if you want to do the OSCE part of the exam.
Okay.
So you go from your document evaluation to your evaluation exam. For the evaluation exam, you have a maximum of 4 attempts to write the exam, provided your document evaluation has not expired, which has a 5-year expiry on it. So you only have 4 attempts to write your
Evaluation exam. Okay.
exam. But after the 3rd attempt and the 60% pass mark for the evaluation exam, it comes as a total of 200 questions. It comes as a total of 200 questions, and you need to get 60% of the pass mark, which would mean like you need to get 180 of the pass mark. In the exams, you have opportunity. It's only right answers that are being marked. If you're not wrong, wrong answers do not have marks on
The
them.
negative marking.
So
Okay.
yes, and then on the website too, there's sample questions. They take you through what is expected. They have a blueprint for the syllabus, resources that you can use. So again, do your due diligence. Check the PEBC before you start this journey. The website, you need to sit with it and play through all the information there so that you know what the journey is. That also helps you to prepare. It helps you to know the extent in which you need to prepare. You have 4 attempts, but normally you would write 3 attempts. The fourth attempt, you need to write PEBC and justify the reason why they should allow you the fourth attempt. I hope no one ever has to go through
Okay.
that.
Yeah.
1 attempt, the second. Most internationally trained pharmacists do pass on the second attempt. That trend is also there on the PEBC website. If you do not pass, the chances are the odds are also increased the second time. So if you didn't pass it the first time, just like me, don't lose hope. Go in again and try it. And I had someone who also advised me that don't give up. The cost of you giving up is not something that you can afford. Don't
Yes.
give
Yeah.
up. You need to go back. You need to go and do it again. And that was how I decided that okay, I'm doing it. So after
What
the
about this bridging
EE,
course then? What about this
so
bridging course
for the
then?
bridging courses, the bridging
Yeah.
courses are being done, I think, in Toronto, University of Toronto, University of Alberta, in British Columbia, and somewhere else. The bridging courses, they're not cheap. They're quite constringent in in
Okay.
cost, but where the bridging courses come in is 2 ways. If after you have done your evaluation exam and you now want to go on to do the qualifying exam, has 2 portions: the multiple choice questions, the MCQ, and the OSCE. That's where you interact with a pretend patient to be able to assess your knowledge and all of that. Once you pass the EE, is either you take a bridging course as part of the preparation for the MCQ and OSCE, or you take the if you take the MCQ and you didn't pass the MCQ on your first attempt, you then take a bridging course, retake the MCQ and the OSCE.
Then the bridging course is mandatory in case someone failed first attempt in MCQ.
Yes, the bridge is mandatory in case if you fail for the MCQ.
Oh, I didn't know this. Okay. That is
So
scary
it's
then.
two
It's a huge
things.
amount.
It's either
Yeah.
you go and prepare again and you just go and write the exam, or you just go ahead and take the bridging course and then prepare for the exam. It sometimes is intertwined, but I know the one for, is it Alberta? The one they do in Alberta, the bridging course is even before you take your evaluation exam. So for that one, is more or less like you're going to undergraduate all over again. So for most people, it's cost wise, it's not feasible. Remember, you came in, you have to feed, you have to eat, you have to house.
Yes.
It's not cost effective, in my opinion, anyways. But if you
So I
know
would say that
that,
it's better to, sorry, but it's better to invest money on taking some good course and properly doing a course instead of spending a huge amount on bridging course. But
yes.
yeah,
But then for
yeah,
some people, if that's the best for you as at that time, you know yourself best and you know
it's
what
yes,
works for you. So if you feel that's going to be good, but it's just that if you put it in the general statistics and the general population, it's few people will
yeah,
go that route first as the first step.
yeah.
Most people is either that they've attempted and they're not successful at it, then they go to the bridging course. But
Okay, okay.
I'm sure we can wing it. You're not a dullard. If you flew overseas and all the ways from where you're coming from all the way to Canada, best believe it, you have something upstairs.
I can
So
do it.
it's not something
Yeah,
for me that
yeah,
I would want to risk. So from the
amazing. Yeah,
MCQ for the
yeah,
qualifying exam is in 2 parts. At the point of registration, you can either register for the 2 parts at the same time and write it. So they write it consecutively. You write the MCQ first and
yeah.
then the OSCE. So most
Mostly.
times it's two ways. Most people register, some people register for MCQ and not register for the OSCE, just so that they can have an ample of time to prepare for the
Where
OSCE.
for the okay.
Yes, because the MCQ is a prerequisite to write the OSCE. So, but
Okay.
if you some other people, because there are different costs too, the costs associated with it are different too. You will register for the MCQ separately. Most times the MCQ is being written in May and in November each year priorly. So before now, same thing for the evaluation exam. It was only written twice in a year, in January and in June. But now the PEBC is going to be writing the evaluation exam 4 times in a year. Now it's going to be written in January, in March, in October, and in June. Sorry, it's going to be January, March, June, and October every year. So it's not 4 times in a year. And they always have about a month interval for you to register and apply for the exam. They have a strict deadline. It has to be, I think it's 12 a.m. on the day, or 12 noon on the day, but you need to go to the website and confirm. So evaluation exam is now 4 times in a year. Before it used to be 2 times in a year. And I think the MCQ too, they're considering making it 3 times in a year, but that's still twice in a year. I'm not sure. I will just need to confirm.
I
For the
understand that there are more people looking to clear an exam, so they are just trying to give us some more opportunity and yeah, instead of waiting for 6 months or 1 year,
or 1 year
better
in
this
between,
way
yes.
for
The
sure.
wait lines
Yeah,
in between too can be crazy because it feels like your
yeah,
life is on hold. Your life
yes,
is on hold pending when the next exam is going, and you don't know
yeah,
how much work you need to put in before the next exam and all of that. So another thing people do is, some of the rules and regulations are different from province to province, so people tend to move from provinces to provinces all through their licensure procedure. So that, because in some provinces I've heard that you can do some certain parts of the exam first before the other. So you can
okay,
move, like I'm not sure if it's Prince Edward Island. You can do your internship before you then do your MCQ and OSCE. So I know for sure the people move provinces just to
yeah.
get the whole process done
Yeah, Ontario can be a
quickly.
difficult place to stay, so I don't blame them.
So people do move
Yeah,
provinces to
yeah,
get it
sure.
done. So
Yeah,
another thing is that people do their MCQ exam first, and then
yeah.
the OSCE later. So after the MCQ, you pass the MCQ. Some people then get pharmacy assistant jobs, so that it can help them to prepare for the OSCE.
Suggestion, because we still need to learn how to communicate with the patient, how to be culturally sensitive for the different culture when you meet. So that's a good opportunity to start practicing. And taking a EE and MCQ should give a confidence for the employer to hire you as a pharmacy assistant in a good place.
But then sometimes it might also be a stumbling block. It just depends on what circumstances you are in. Some employers will not give you that opportunity until you have written your OSCE.
Mm. We
They
have that
wouldn't,
way also.
because after the OSCE is the internship, the 6 months to 1 year internship in whichever province that you are in. Some of them, some employers, is the OSCE that actually gives them the confidence. Okay, now you can work with us. So after your MCQ, your OSCE, you will now move on to the registration portion of the licensure procedure, which is registration with NAPRA or the college or the province. So for that portion, you have to do a mandatory 6 to 1 year internship. After the internship, you will write your jurisprudence exam. I know priorly the jurisprudence exam was written once in a year, sometime in January or so, but I don't know. There are lots of halls going on right now, so different news will be coming out on how they're looking at the system and changes is
I
what they
didn't even
feel they
feel
should
like
be.
we spoke for 2 hours, but
Oh,
I think
really?
so. Yes, time is
That's
forward
a
now.
lot of
I
time.
think so. We spent good amount of time when clearly sharing the proper information, anyone thinking about Canada, not just, we didn't talk just as aspect of pharmacy alone. I would say that anyone who wanted to think about Canada, doesn't matter which field they are in, I think this video would give them a good amount of information for them to know that there is a still hope in this country. And a couple of things I really like when you said about what's the point of LinkedIn. Many think that the moment you join in LinkedIn, you get a job. But surprisingly, you didn't even mention anything about job about LinkedIn. You clearly said that it's just about shadowing. It's about finding a right mentor. You didn't even say that you have to go to LinkedIn to find a job. You said
Oh,
the
you
right
won't get a job
reality.
on LinkedIn. There is no,
Yes,
you're just seeing job posting. No one is
yeah,
guaranteeing you anything on LinkedIn.
yeah,
No
anything.
one.
So that's I'm really glad that you also stressed on that aspect. And volunteering and being part of community, it's not something right now people are focusing on. But you again reiterating that, making people understand that doing that, getting a right network can in turn benefit not just for the job alone, even for a personal life.
For a
You're
person,
meeting
yes.
someone, you're talking to someone, you're doing the networking, make you feel human. That yeah, just because you moved to Canada, it doesn't mean that
That's the
you're living
end.
in an
Yes, it
alienated
means
world.
that there is
Yeah.
something out there for you, and then it also
Yes.
increases your chances of walking or stumbling into opportunities that you never can know was there.
Opportunities.
How did I meet you?
Yes.
And look at oneness today.
Yes. So that's another thing. No, in oneness, we are understanding that the need of these licensing exam, the expenses behind this exam. That's the reason that we are working towards a crowdfunding program. You are already part of this in a cohort one. I think so. In Nigeria, it's called Ususu. And
Yes,
what was the other term?
Ajo.
Yeah, Joe. Like that, we have like a chit fund. It's not a
Yes,
straightforward
like
term.
it.
In India, also, we use the similar terminology. So, in oneness, we are prioritizing to support IEHPs, make sure that people like you who would be coming and sharing their journey, as you said, just because we crawl, people who are coming after a couple of years, they should be at least walking or running or flying. So
Right.
we are, you are there to provide that information, and I could see that it was a long day for you. Sorry for holding you for this long.
Oh,
I
it's
feel like there
fine.
is a
The
need for
journey
a
is not
second
something
call.
that you can peel. There's so many aspects of the journey. If we were to start, I'm
Yes,
sure we can spend
for
the
sure.
whole day here and we wouldn't have peeled back all the layers of the journey. But I'm just so thankful
Yes,
that I was able to get the goodwill of others and things were able to work out despite just being here in 2 years. Some people have been here longer, and when you discuss with them, it just
I
feels like,
thought you have been
oh,
here for
this is
10
here,
years
oh,
right
this
now.
is here.
I thought you have been here for 10 years. I thought you were a citizen here. That's not the amount of information that you have. I thought whenever I met, I never know. Today is the first day I heard from you that today we can end this discussion. I'm pretty sure that we are going to need another call, mainly focusing about the evaluation exam and
The
discussing
evaluation
about little
exam.
bit more detail. And I also need to accept that it's better to bring some pharmacists in this call who are just now landed here. That person can ask you a right question. I know
Right
I'm doing an
questions,
okay job,
okay.
but yeah, I could still bring in a pharmacist who will be able to ask you a question. That will be helpful for many assets who are thinking about starting this journey.
Oh, that's fine.
Amazing.
Like I
Thank you so
said,
much.
I'm
Yes.
happy
Well,
to help anyone. Information
yeah.
is the
Yeah.
list that you can get some anywhere. And having
Yeah.
the right amount of information caps your journey. It makes a journey of 1,000 miles lesser for you. And
Very well said.
for me
Yeah.
too, is the informations that I've been privy to that have helped us so far. And
Yeah.
that's what makes
Yeah.
it look like I've been here longer. Meanwhile, it's just been short. Another thing you cannot forget is habits and being content with what you have. It's not like I cannot be doing more or I don't want to do more, but what is available to me? Am I even making use of the things available to me right now rather
Yes.
than
Please.
keep stretching and stretching? It never ends. It's a cycle. We're human beings, do
It's a
that.
learning for me also. Thank you for saying
But
that.
at the same time, you will
Thank
need
you.
to
Yeah.
sacrifice some things.
Thank you, Zainab. May Allah bless you. Allah bless your husband and the business owner who supported for the furniture, your initial people, and also your daughter is so kind. It's been good amount of time and she is being very patient with being part of this. Thank you so much. God bless
Thank you,
you. See you
Sahid.
soon. Yeah.
Bye.